Welcome back, PC Amateur Guy here. Today I want to talk about how to maximize airflow in your PC in ways you didn't really know of or aware of, because there's a lot of new PC cases that are coming out now, and I just wanted to talk about a couple of things where you can maximize airflow. And so let's get started. First, I want to point out the traditional way of how, traditional cases are. Usually, this would be intake, and then this would be exhaust, this would be exhaust, and you have fans. Your graphics card is basically exhaust, so the flow is just basically going this direction here, and then out that direction, and then out that way. So that's kind of like a one direction when I talked about in my previous video, how to create a quiet PC and get rid of how to, find out what the noisy PC is. So for this one, it's basically one flow, and that's traditional PC building. But with new cases nowadays, like the NR200, where you can get cases on the side here, and you can also put fans on the bottom. That's basically how you would maximize your airflow, in a nutshell. So you want to make sure the airflow is going one direction, either this way out or going up, and you don't ever want to go against how air goes up. So you never want to put your fans to be intake and go down, because it's just going to be fighting air and causing air friction. So with the newer cases, if you have cases on the side, where you can put fans on the side or fans in the bottom of the graphics card, that's where you can maximize airflow. So what I mean by that is, if you have fans in the bottom there, it will act as additional fans for the graphics card. And then on the side, if you have air cooling, for example, you want to make sure that the air is actually being intake right into the motherboard, so that will create cool air. And remember that it's an ecosystem. So if your CPU is cooler and your graphics card is cooler, and so everything else will be cool in your system, and the fans won't ramp up. So let me show you a specific example of what I mean. If you take a look at this PC, and I'm going to open it up because this is a unique PC. So let me open this up and show you what I mean. Okay, so you're going to see that this is intake. Just move this. This is intake here, and I'm just going to open this up here. This is a SilverStone case. Let me know if you want me to put the description of this case below in the description. But I just want to show you how you can maximize your airflow. Let me just open this case and I'll be right back. Okay, so if some of the newer cases, if you can afford it, and if what I suspect in the future is they're gonna have, you can probably fit maybe 2 more fans or 3 more fans out here, and they're gonna design cases that way. But you don't have it here as an option. But if you can fit like at least 2 more fans out here next to the graphics card, you want to make them also intake. So the graphics card is intake, and then you will see that this is also intake. So this is actually hitting into the motherboard to keep the motherboard cool, and this is also intake here. And then you have 2 fans in the back here that you might be able to see there. That's also exhaust. So the way the flow of the air is going it's going through the graphics card all the way through the Noctua air coolers, and that's also intake. And then the second fan of the CPU cooler is also exhaust, and then exhaust is the two fans out. So essentially the fans, now listen, the fans are working in harmony, meaning it's going one direction. So it's going in here and then pushing through the air cooler, and then it's going all the way exhausting to the back. So they're not fighting against each other. Now whereas if I put the two exhaust fans and I did it as an intake, meaning air coming through here, and it's going to create an air friction. So when it's under load, it's going to be very loud because the air is not in one direction and it's fighting against each other. And there's also an intake fan here that just goes up this way and then just all exhausts out. So it goes like this. But more importantly, these three fans here are intake, and it's actually cooling the motherboard. And it's actually this fan here that's adjacent to the CPU cooler. It's basically, okay, so it's actually it's pulling in cool air into the motherboard, and this fan adjacent to the CPU cooler is acting like a third fan to the CPU cooler. Okay, so that's maximizing airflow because you're pulling in cool air into the motherboard and into the CPU cooler, and obviously this one as well, and this one in the bottom there. And so you're making it kind of like working together in harmony. So you never, like, as opposed to if I did this as exhaust fans, I would be pulling hot air out. And essentially what's going to happen is that I'm actually pulling hot air into the case if I'm exhausting it out, because the air has to come from somewhere, right? So it's just going to pull hot air out, and it's not going to maximize your airflow. So just wanted to mention that, and then I'm just going to quickly turn this on so you can see what it looks like. And so when it's on high load, and this is a Strix card, by the way, 2080 Super, but the point is that when it's on high load, it will work together in harmony and it won't create any air friction. So I don't know if you want to listen to that, but so in summary, by using fans to directly face the cooler, it acts as a third fan. And then if you have any fans that you can put to line up with the graphics card, it will actually act as two additional fans. So essentially your graphics card will have 5 fans, and that's how you would maximize the airflow. You want to have the case fans to be directly directly facing the CPU cooler or CPU motherboard or the graphics card, so it would actually create a maximization of the airflow for you. So that's what I want to discuss today, and I hope you like watching this video, and subscribe if you haven't, thumbs up or thumbs down. And so again, you want to use your case fans to your advantage, and if it's facing the components, it's where it's going to get the air. A lot of people like to face it a different way, and then so you're not maximizing your airflow. If for example, if the two fans out here, if there was any, if you did exhaust and this is intake, you're creating air friction now because this is intake and this is exhaust, so it's fighting against each other. And if you're exhausting here, you're exhausting hot air, right? But there's a flow to it that it's going in and going in, and the CPU cooler is in the back there, and there's 2 fans attached to it. It's also just exhausting one direction, so it's working together in harmony. Okay, so thanks for watching.